Welcome to Ask Carnell. Today's topic is car dealership shenanigans. Have you ever noticed each time you walk into a car dealership, the car salesman asks you two questions? They ask you, how much money do you have to put down? And the next question they ask you is, how much can you afford per month? One of the reasons it's not important to answer that question is because they're really not concerned about working on your budget or concerned about how much money you have to pay per month or giving you the best deal. That's never what their concern is. Their goal for asking that question is to try to push your car note as far as possible so that you can turn a profit, so that they can turn a profit. I'm sorry. So let's get into it. So generally what happens is the car salesman, you walk in and he's going to ask you, how much money do you have to put down? How much can you afford per month? Well, let's just say, for instance, you give them a number. You tell that car salesman, I can afford $800 a month. What they're in turn are going to do, they're going to go back to their car salesman, because you notice they're always going to tell you, hey, I need to go talk to my sales manager. Well, they're going to go talk to their sales manager, and they're going to tell the sales manager, hey, customer A can afford to pay $800 a month. Well, when they go pull your credit and find out that your credit is not as bad as they thought it was, or whatever the situation may be concerning your credit, the financial companies may come back and say, we could do the deal at $600 a month, or we can do the deal at $650 per month. Well, keep in mind, you've already told them you can afford to pay $800 a month. So in turn, what they're going to do, they're never going to be honest with you and come back and say, well, hey, we got a better deal. No, you've already told them that you can afford to pay $800 a month. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to go in and say, well, since this individual can afford to pay $800 a month, then that's where we're going to get them. And many times they'll come back to you and make it seem like you did such a great job. Hey, I went and worked this out with my financial manager and we were able to get you at $800 a month. And the reality side of it is you could have gotten that car note for a lot cheaper. Instead, each time you walk into a car dealership and they ask you, how much money do you have to put down and how much can you afford to pay per month? Your answer should always be is, I'm not sure. Here's why you should answer, I'm not sure. Because interest rate and the price of the car determines your car note. Okay, I'll say it again. Interest rate, the price of the car determines your car note. Okay. Now, what you should be focused on is asking them, what type of interest rate can you get me? How much money can you take off of this car? Okay. You don't need to discuss car note. Car note talk is a trap. Okay. They're trying to see where your finances are and what you can afford. Okay. So again, you walk in, salesman walk up and say, hey, introduce himself. How much money can you afford? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much money I can afford to pay per month. However, once you pull my credit, then we can go from there. Okay. When they pull your credit, they're going to send your credit report to different lenders. Okay. All those lenders are going to kick back a bid. One company may come back with $600 a month at a 7% interest rate. One may come back at 8% at another different note. Okay. You let him present that to you and you negotiate on interest rates. Don't negotiate on the car note. Don't talk about any money. Okay. Now, here's another trick that they'll pull on you sometime. Sometimes they make it seem as if they've done so much work for you and they've worked so hard to make this deal. Be careful on the terms. Okay. Sometimes they'll get you the car note that you're looking for, but then push your note up to 72 months, which is 7 years. 6 years. I'm sorry. 6 years. Some car dealerships is even taking it up to 7 years. Okay. Pay attention to that. Okay. So again, the only thing you want to focus in on when you walk into a car dealership is do not talk about how much you could pay per month. It's a trap. Okay. Once you tell them how much money you could pay per month, that's what's stuck in their head. Now, many times, often, after you tell them what you can afford to pay per month, and it may be far above the quotes they've gotten back. Maybe all the lenders come back and say that they could offer you a $650 rate. They can offer you $600 a month, but you've already told them $800. So what they're going to do is to try to sell some extra things on top of that. They're going to come back and say, hey, look, we were able to get you at $800, but we got to do a little bit more because of A, B, and C. The goal is to push you as far as possible with your car note. Okay. Anytime you walk into a car dealership and you tell the salesman, my interest rate and the amount of the car is going to determine my car note, we don't need to talk about car note. Now they know you know what you're talking about. Okay. I've bought many cars. I know the game. and I've been around it several times. Okay. Never talk about how much money you can afford per month. Okay. Always allow them to pull your credit first. Pull my credit first. Because here's the other thing. How do they know what they can afford? How do they know what they can give you if they hadn't pulled your credit report yet? Okay? They don't know what your credit score is. They don't know what the lenders are going to offer. But what they're trying to do is find out what you can pay during the preliminary stages. So once all the numbers come back from all the different lenders on the interest rate they're willing to give you, they'll know how far they can push your note up even higher. Does that make sense? Okay. So again, never talk about car note. Okay. Now, if you don't know what to say when they ask you how much can you afford or how much money can you put down, if you don't know what to say, just say, I'm not sure. Well, why are you not sure? You don't know how much you can afford per month? Well, I'm not sure because from my understanding, you have to pull my credit first to see what the lenders are willing to offer me. We don't know what that interest rate is going to be. So for me to give you an amount that I could pay per month doesn't make sense. Okay. So pull my credit and let's see what the lenders come back with, and we'll go from there. If they come back with a number that you can't afford, you start negotiating from there. So if they come back to the drawing board with you and say, we went and had your credit pull and it appears that you have to pay about $750 a month, you start negotiating from that point. Never negotiate on the car note. Negotiate on the interest rate. Why? Because the interest rate is going to determine your car. You're going to determine your car note. If you start negotiating on the car note because you want your car note you want your car note lower, then what they're going to do in turn is extend the loan out even further to give you that car note that you're looking for. And you don't want to talk about a car note. Strictly talk about the interest rate, because by default, if you get a lower interest rate, by default, it's going to lower your car note anyway. Okay? Don't get into car note talk, because then they're backdoor and say, you can go and say, I can't pay $750. I can pay $700. They're going to say, okay, well, they're going to go back and not lower the interest rate, but make the term longer so that you can get your car note lower. Okay? Be careful. Thank you guys for joining me. If you have any questions, follow me at Ask Carnell, or you can email me at askcarnell@gmail.com. Thank you.